It is a magnificent day in New York area, so I'm running out to the beach. Let's get this done. Let's get some nice trade set up, and let's all enjoy the weather because it is fantastic over here. So, what we got? Well, looks like we had a pretty nice week coming up over here on the weekly charts. We got a pair of twins on ES. We still have to deal with the supply zone. We do have a little bit of a, I want to say a little bit of a higher low, but very slight. This level could really, do anything at this point. Are we about to make a lower high and start breaking down over here? Or are we going to take out the top? We don't know just yet. And we do know that we're coming into the time of the month when the Fed starts to, clean up their balance sheet again. So they've been doing that the last 2 weeks of the month, over the last couple of months. So we've been seeing the selling pressure kick in when that happens, like here and here. Right, and I think we're going to see that again, even back here. Right? All these little pops down are coming when the Fed starts to unwind the balance sheet because they're trying to get back to something normal. So that really puts a lot of pressure on the market. We're coming into that in the next fiscal. It's not going to be this week, really. Towards the end of this week, it's going to start. It's going to follow through. The following week or so, where there's going to be some downwards pressure. So the question really happens is now, this week, are we going to get up into this level first? You see this pretty supply zone up here, really nice daily supply. That, and then we start our sell-off. There's got to be one more sell-off, I think, before we break this high on the ES. We're not going through this thing just yet. Not without the Fed getting involved or getting out of the way, at least for the market to rally. So that is the analysis for now. I think we're going to try and see a push up early in the week. I think by the if we should get to this level this week up here at 28 and change, you don't want to be long anymore after that because that's when the Fed's going to start tightening up a little bit, and there's going to be a pullback again. It might start happening here. I don't even know. We'll see tomorrow what it looks like. But for now, when we're just sort of stuck, you can see inside this little range-bound trade over the last couple of days, let's say more than a couple of days, 2 months, of this little sideways grinding up higher. And I think we need to test this level. I think we're going to see this level before we get through here. All right, so for now, it's cautious on the longs. I mean, the trend is still up, no question about that, on the higher time frames at least. So if you want to stay long, I can totally understand that. But I'm a little concerned about the level that we're sitting in here on the 240. Let me show you this thing. It looks like a pretty bottom. It looks really nice, right? If we look down here underneath us, yeah, we had, this pen, that's an eraser. We had a nice little bounce out of this little area over here. You could see this whole little bottom that formed, and we popped out of it, and now we got stuck right here, right? The supply zone. We touched it on Friday, and we've created all this air. So we're sort of like in an inflection area, right? There's air above us, there's air below us, and we're right at the level, so we don't know what's happening here. No clue. Right, so we'll have to wait and see how that plays out tomorrow. Should we get through this level, it's very possible that we get all the way up to that 2820, because this to the left over here, this is what I call garbage. Right? There's nothing here. This has all been retested and tested and retested, and you'll get a little basing, but you're going to get through that kind of a zone. This is real supply. Look how big this sell-off was over here. Right? So this level is a problem. Beyond this level, it's 2820, which is a major problem up there, that daily level I just showed you, okay? And that's about it for targets. On the way down, what are we talking about? It's basically a test underneath us of like that 2670 or so on the daily level, okay? So there's going to be some decisions to be had this week. We'll find out which way the market decides to go. We're looking at this thing on the daily as the bottom of the, where the pullback would come to, somewhere right over here if it pulls back out of this zone. Right. Otherwise, we're talking about, this is getting here. If we don't pull back over here, we rally up, the target is 2820. After that, all bets are off. Okay, so let's see how that plays out tomorrow. If you're in a long position, so you're just going to watch this level to make sure that we're able to clear it. It looks like it may be an issue. Okay, let's take a look at this 15 chart here. What we're seeing, there's the pop on Friday. Right, there's a supply zone waiting for us just above us, right? I'm sorry, 60 chart. Right over here, we're waiting for this little supply zone right around 270. This is just prior highs over here, that little pivot up there. That's probably not going to hold. It's more of a target for profits. And then it's that level I showed you on the daily chart, right? So you can see that we've really got all this air that we've created underneath us, and we haven't really gotten through the supply. We're caught up in this little zip blip over here, right? We're just basing through that. That makes sense. But the real supply is sitting up here. We haven't gotten there yet. Take a look. I'm going to clean up some of the lines. You'll see that this is this, right? And here's the supply. That's where it's sitting. You can see all the action in this area behind us. And there's the touch right here. And then the big sell-off right there. This is the zone. So that's where you're going to run into trouble. Again, with obviously the air underneath us. So breaking down out of this zone downwards into here, again, this is garbage. All this has been tested, right? So all stair-stepped. We're going through all that. We're going to end up at depth 26 down here underneath this level. All right, that's the level on the daily chart that I'm showing you. So we're sort of in between. You got to be careful here, and it really is going to be dependent on the Fed. If they start selling off this week, which is possible, then we're going to have a lot of problems rallying. Okay. Let's take a look at NQ, and then we'll take questions for the equities. So as NQ over, let's say, the last 2 weeks or so, definitely been stronger than the ES. We definitely know that. There is the twins on the daily as well. I'm sorry, on the weekly chart, they're there. And this one actually got up to the supply on the daily. See this? Right? So this should be about it. If it's going to start pulling back, likely to fall from this area. There's a little bit more room left on the 240, slightly. I'll show it to you in a second. But we're, because this is just a pretty big zone, 50 ticks, 50 points actually on the daily chart. So there's still a little bit of room on the small time frame, still a little bit of a pounds higher. But that's, I think, about it as far as also over here. The Nasdaq's going to start its little pullback as well. You can see that the level over here is this thing. So we're just sort of at the beginning part of it over here. It goes a little higher. I might as well just put it on the chart right now. I didn't draw it only because it's the same thing as this little trend line area where it's going to touch. It's the same spot. But for you guys, I might as well just draw it out so we can see the numbers of where they are. And that's where we're going to start to run into trouble. Now you can see that we've got air underneath us over here as well. So let's go here, and there we go. So the zone on this looks like this. Over here, let's say this is just all approximate. Probably right here. Okay, or here, depending on how stingy you want to be. Either way, as you see, the trend line is right there, and that's pretty much where we're going to have the next problem area for the longs. Okay, so there's still a little bit of room left over here on the small time frame, but it's the same idea. If the Fed starts selling off, this thing is going to take out the bottom of this. We're talking about like 6,700, I think I want to say. Let me go back and look at, it's this level on the daily over here. This sucker, all right? So this is our fresh demand. It's 6,770 and change. Right, it's right around the middle of 6,800 is the middle of the zone. So that's what we're talking about, something like this. Okay, and do we, are we getting through the all-time highs over here on this move up? Highly doubtful. Highly, highly doubtful. I'm more likely to say that we should be pulling back over here again because of what the Fed's going to start doing. This is actually the biggest QT of the year scheduled for this month, which means they're going to sell off more than they've sold prior. In the last few times it caused a lot of issues for the markets, so again, this could be a problem area. So after that's over, beginning of next month, rally time, I think. But for now, I'm very cautious on the longs. Okay? So we're not going to break down. The market's not going to collapse. We're not crashing. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just talking about a little pullback. That's what we're talking about over here. Okay, we will eventually make new highs again after that. But for now, think about banking profits. If you're long for a little bit, you'll get a better chance to buy back at a little bit lower price. Over here on the smaller time frame of the NQ, so we sort of got into the beginning of this garbage, right? There's this level over here also. There's this thing up here. It's the fresh part. So I just, watching this, we're here to see where the pullback comes. But again, all this is just air at this point. So any one of these levels could really get it going. again, we formed a nice little bottom on over here, but it's time for this little pullback. We had a top over here at this whole area, and now we're testing it again somewhere over here, and we're likely just to pull back again because of what we're expecting to happen. Okay, so that's what we're looking at for NQ. And so I would say for this week, don't want to start any long positions here. If you're in long positions, start protecting profits. I'm more likely to jump on some kind of a short position coming into this coming week. Okay, that's what I'm looking at over here. And if you have a question, please feel free. Otherwise, let's go on and take a look at what happened with crude. We're starting a weekly chart only because I'm starting to see some issues for crude here. And, you know, this channel has been playing out pretty nicely on the weekly chart for a while, right? We had the back to bottom break, and then we tested, and then now we've, the engulfing, and we shot to the top, and now we're getting the doji at the top of the move. Those are very dangerous. Okay, those create morning star candles, right? Where we get a nice red candle on the other side of this thing. So it's a rally-based rally or a rally-based drop. Well, the fact that we're up here at I don't know how many year highs it is back there at 75. It's a few years already that we've not been this high. I'm more likely to think we're actually going to be pulling back a little bit over here. I'll show you why I'm saying that as we get through the time frames. But I think that crude is going to have an issue here. It's not ready to break out above, the 75 area that we sort of touched. It's probably likely to pull back into some demand somewhere on a smaller time frame over here, around 70, that level I keep talking about, and then making the move out. Okay, so we're going to go look for that zone. I keep talking about it over here. You can see last week we had the pullback, and we sort of recovered this week, but we weren't able to get to the highs. Right? And if we don't get back up there, we're going to create what's going to happen is twins, and then a massive pullback, a couple of dollars to the downside. And I think that's more likely what's going to be happening over here. So let's go look over here on the 240. And you see we sort of have a topping pattern up here, right? Starting. Okay, look at all the highs over here, right? Unable to get any further, and then we back test them lower and clean out demand. And we push up a little, and that's it. Now we're at this little supply. I'll show you in a second. And it looks like almost like the equities. Are we rolling over, which is what I would think we're going to see, or are we going to just break through the top? Unlikely at this point. I think we're going to see the pullback. There's a very fresh demand zone sitting around the 70. You can see it over here, right? It looks like on this 240 chart, it's around 68 to 13, but it's sitting right around $70. And I'll show it to you as we go on through the lower time frames. And that's more likely to do something like this and then get through the top. So I think we're going to have to look for shorts again in crude. The trend is still up, however. We're looking at a potential for this little turnover over here. I'll show it to you on the smaller time frames. I think we're looking for a pullback at crude this week. Okay, it's not looking as strong as it has been over the last few weeks. Take a look here. There's our 60. Right, blow it up. And you'll see the big the sellers are starting to, to make these big moves down over here, right? The buyers get a little bit back. Over here, we were able to push up. We had some fresh demand sitting underneath us. We got there on Friday, and we sort of rallied back a little bit, and now we're flagging around, and we're in some supply over here on this doji over here. There's a breakout of this area over here, right? And I think we're actually going to see a lower high, and all this air is going to get taken out. Okay, so I think we're going to see crude sell off this week. I have to watch for the entry into that. Do we have lower highs and lower lows? Yes, we do. The 60 trend actually is down at this point. Okay? So we're looking for a short move for crude. The target for this week, I think we're looking at something like $70. Okay? So far, so good. Keep going, baby. Let's go. Gold. So gold has, we know over the last 3 or 4 weeks, sold off, landed itself in that weekly demand zone, and now it's printed a little hammer candle on the weekly chart, which needs to continue. Okay, if this turns into a failed hammer, gold is screwed. I believe it's very unlikely that that is going to happen. It's much more likely it's going to rally. If we take a look over here on the daily chart, we'll see we printed the twins back there on Wednesday, and then we popped a little further, and then we just paused out on Friday. We're looking at a flag. You see it? very clear where the flag is, right here on the 240, and it's just chewing through this supply zone over here. Right? We have supply, and we're just working our way through it. Bang, 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 bang. It's going to pop. Okay, and gold will be back to this level this week, more likely. Early in the week, I think we're going to see this 1275 area getting touched again, back up here in the daily chart. So it's going to look like this: rally, base, rally into the zone over here. This flag will break, and the anticipated move is like from 40 to about 20 bucks to the upside, right? So if we're trading at 55 now, the staff $20 puts us at 75. It's right into this area over here in the daily chart. That's what makes sense. Okay, so it looks to me like gold should be getting ready to rally this week. Finally, we have to wait for it to break out, but it's going to be a violent move to the upside. Okay. You can see it. All this pressure is building up over here on the 60 chart. Look at this. Boom, 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 chang, chang, chang. We're 3 or 4 days inside this wedge over here. The demand is underneath us, and there's some room to the upside, and we have a little bit of supply up here at 60 something. So maybe we do a little back test of the breakout area. Right? We flag up into here, we break out, we back test a little, and then we go. There's 75, which is basically the top of this wick over here. That's the target for now. So it's staff, flag, breakout. That's what we're looking for. So longs in gold, okay, up into 1275. Oops, lost one of my charts there. There we go. Okay. What did the dollar do this week? Well, we know it sold off a little bit, okay? And when we're looking over here, it looks like it's just pausing on the weekly chart. But when we start to look underneath the hood, right, some of the smaller time frames, we see there's actually a lot of weakness here. We had a double top up there at 95. The middle of the double top was here, and we broke and closed underneath it over here just on Friday, which means there's the origin. I'm going to draw it out for you here for the dollar. Right? We pushed up, we pushed down, double top, and we're starting the descent after that. And we've taken out the middle, which means the origin is here. We're going back to 93. That's what we're looking at over here, right? Back down here underneath this move on the daily chart here, 93. Here's the middle of the double top. Here's a double top. So down into 93 for dollar, okay? And that translates into rallies for, the other currencies more or less. The euro, most notably, right, is looking like it's ready to rally, okay? So let's take a look. Long on euros, right? So here's the middle of the double bottom. Here's the double bottom. Here's the origin of the move. Euros long into 1970, up to almost 1.2, right? And we'll see on the small time frames that there's totally air to do that. We're in the air already. Right? Take a look at the 240. Right? This was the middle that we're talking about. We've taken it out already. We've been back testing on top of it over here. Look at all the air above us. All this is air. Look here. So the target's all the way up here, top of the wick at least. Okay. So pullbacks into demand are longs euro. Trend has flipped over. We're now in an uptrend over here. Okay. And we've got air above us. So we want to be long euro into 1.2. Take a look at the 60. There's the churning higher, higher, higher. Pull back demand, new high. Pull back demand, new high. That's what we're looking at. Right? So pull back demand, new high, new high, new high. So we're going to zoom out a little bit. We'll see that we're in the air. There's nothing here. This was that 1-800 level I was talking about in our last webinar. This thing over here on the 15 that did this little pause over here, but that's gone now, and we're going to come back into that sucker, and that's it. We're done. Ready to rally. Okay, so long euro. Let's go look at the zones on the smaller time frame, because that was the one that we had marked off on our other webinar. While we're mentioning webinars this week, we're going to have live trading twice. So Wednesday and Thursday, we'll have the webinar at 8:30 on Wednesday morning. And then at 10, we'll do the live trading, 10 to 12, and then on Thursday, also 10 to 12. Yeah. So there's the euro on the 15. This was the level that we had mentioned in our last webinar, right? This sucker over here. and it's so far doing its move. It's, you know, what was expected of it. That's the zone, and that's the reaction out of the zone so far. Right, pushing down, but you know, now it's starting to make its way back up into that thing, and if it gets back there with just this little, you know, higher low in the way, it'll break, and we know that above it there is absolutely nothing, zero. Okay, so this is all one move straight down. We'll all get retraced, this whole thing. There's the zone. You can see right above us, above the zone, there's nothing. The whole thing will be taken out. Okay, and we'll shoot all the way to the top of the wick. So long and euro, that's what we're looking for. Okay. Cool. Okay, let's go look at some, I guess, what's going on over there. All right, so on the weekly chart, we're getting a continuation of the selling, right? We have the drop of base, and then the drop with a little back test off of this little demand, start to hold a little bit. You know, we got a little nice little back test over here, chopping out some of the weaker shorts, but you can see technically on the 240 chart, this downtrend is so strong, so intact. Every wick up here has been sold off. Push up into this area is getting clocked. You know, this level will be hit tomorrow. It's not looking good for that guess. So even though we rallied on Friday, it's all counter trend move. Expected to get retraced. We're going to turn over again, and that guess is going to break the bottom down here and make new lows. Okay, there's the trend line. You can see it. It's been wild and choppy down there. We're chewing through the demand, but you can see that the pivots up are getting weaker. Right, the moves up are getting lower. Okay, and we're just coming back to the same level and making a lower high. And making a lower high, right? And we're just chopping. It's going to break. That's it. We're going through the bottom of this thing. That gas is rolling over out of this sucker. And let's see where the next level down is. So looks like around 2.78, right? About 70 ticks or so to the downside. Into 2.8, 2.78, somewhere down there. Okay? That's where we're looking at nat gas. So you want to be short on nat gas this week. Yen. Finally showing what I'm calling a little bit of strength. And I think we have a chance for a pretty decent rally coming. Why? Well, I looked at the weekly chart. We're looking at this engulfing candle from last week. And what do we get this week? Where the hell is the continuation? After an engulfing weekly candle, we actually get like a pause, turn around. This is the beginning of an evening star. We should see a rally this week. We look here on the daily chart, the push down. We get the reversal candles right over here. Then we flag. We tried to sell off on Thursday, couldn't do it. We retraced that on Friday, which means we actually have a higher low over here. You see it? There's the higher low. We've already come back to this zone. That's going to break. Where's the fresh supply after that? Well, it's higher. So, you know, somewhere up here. Looks to me like we're going to see a rally in yen, and that would make sense if the dollar is going to sell off, right? And we're saying that the Fed is going to be tightening, selling off some of their, their assets. That's going to push the market down. That also is going to cause the yen to rally. So the yen rally seems like a pretty decent bet this week. Long on the yen. The trend on the 60, right, was, let's take a look. I think it was down, and it looks like it's about to turn. Yeah, so we're down over here. There's a big push up. We never made we made the higher low, but we never made the higher high yet. It's about the flip trend, right? Because down into here we're short, and then we rallied up to here. We pushed down. This is a higher low. This whole thing over here now, right? And now we've never made the higher high. We got to take out this thing, which we're about to. And that will flip trend to the upside, and then after that, it's how far does the yen want to run? It looks to me like we're probably, I would say maybe the doji over here is probably a decent target up here. 91500 or something like that for the yen. So longs in yen this week. That's what I see here happening. The daily level is up higher than that, but for 60 trade, I would say 91.5 daily, all the way up to 92. But I'm talking something like in this neighborhood right over here. This is 915. It's basically this little doji area, right, where we start to break out of this range over here. So, you know, something like that for now. If it wants to go beyond, we'll reevaluate later in the week, but for now it looks like it's a long in the end. All right. Let's go with the Aussie dollar's got going on. Ooh, pretty. So, there's our little pause reversal on the weekly chart, right? We had a drop, base drop. We retraced that, and we're getting a hammer candle. So we need a little bit of a continuation. On the daily, we see that we've retraced back into the supply zone. It looks like we hit it on Friday. Let's take a look. Yep. All right, there's a little bottom pattern over there. All right, and we have the drop, base, drop into lows. Then we rally, base, rally. We hit the supply. You can see that's where the supply is. Prior lows are sitting there. And we touched it. Above that, a lot of air. Right, so I think maybe a little pause, small higher low, and then the rally out of this sucker again, because the dollar's looking to me like we're going to see selling pressure coming into the dollar. Gold is going to rally. That's going to help the Aussie dollar. So Aussie longs, way to go. Okay, and we can see a lot of air over here. We've already hit this thing, pretty much. This top of the wick over here got touched with this little move, and it looks like it's about to get retraced. So 7,500 looks easy. We'll probably get a little pause at 7,500, and then look at above that level. Air, target for this week, up here, 75.60. So a pretty big move, potentially 100 plus, 150 potentially, for Aussie dollar, okay? So I like the longs in Aussie. You know, you can expect the pressure in this area. I'll pull back in that neighborhood. So long into that, you can get out, and then probably a back test somewhere to like over here, 74.50, and then the rally to the next level up. So that's what we're looking at for Aussie dollar this week. Let's see where the demand is underneath us on the 60. Okay, looks like the trend is already turned up on the 60 chart. Okay, and there's some demand right there. So small levels of supply above us, not going to do too much there. So there's 7,400 currently is the demand. When we get a little higher, we'll have some new demand sitting over here. So longs, I think, into this level up here. That's at least where we're looking at over here, right? Potentially this one. But this one, I think, is a pretty easy 75.50, 100 plus for Aussie dollar this week. All right, so there's the 7,500 I was talking about. So, you know, push up, little pause, push up, back test, bang. That's the move. The bigger trade is long 74.50 into 75.50. That's the 100-point move, but you could start this thing even before we're over the enough trend, and this level I doubt is going to do anything. So longs in Aussie dollar. Okay. Awesome. Kicking butt. Let's keep going. Pounds. What do we get? Well, it looks to me like the demand zone on the weekly chart is starting to hold itself up. Right? We had some selling pressure over the last couple of weeks until this week. And we print a pair of twins over here out of demand on the weekly. Doji normal over here. And you could see the buying pressure starting from the daily chart, right? Let's open it up. So there is the most recent low. It's down here. And we got a pretty decent back test into the supply so far. All right. And the question now is, is that going to turn us down and break down further? Or is that actually going to create a little pullback at a higher low? Well, which way is the dollar going this week? Well, the dollar had that double top, right? And it's almost not completed yet. So it's going to go further down, which is, again, pound should be rallying. That's cool. Looks like the uptrend has started on the 240. That's pretty clear, right? And we have the higher low over here, and then we made higher highs, and we broke through supply, and we made another higher low, and then we made another higher high. So the trend is up, right? Okay, there is some supply coming over here. We want to get that out of our face. You can see what all that is. So I think, a hit of the zone, a pullback into 133. This is where you want to start the long, because that's what's going to give you the biggest piece of air coming. Right, when I start to go down to low times, you see, look at all this over here, right? So if I can clear out some of this and pick up the long over here, all right, then we're talking about a really, really nice trade, up to 135. Now, being that we expect euros to rally through that zone as well, right? That's the pound's also going to move that way. So it looks to me like long in pounds. Here's the zones on the 60. Take a look. We've already started the rally. We've already got, pretty much into this area over here. Let me zoom out a dot. That's the supply zone we're concerned with. And there's the air above the zone. Okay? So longs into here, no problem. Expect a pullback out of that. So maybe you want to take out profits here, or you want to just wait till it clears and then you buy the first demand zone that's created underneath the zone or at the zone once we've hit it, which means we're rallying to here. If there's a demand zone created over here, right, there on the way up, there should be something because of this. That's where you're going to buy long. After this zone is hit, you buy that level, it's tested, and you expect it to get all the way back to here. Okay? A lot of air up there. So long in pounds, just not yet. If you're in, stay in. But if you're not in, you're waiting for that zone to get hit and then look for the pullback and then get long. Okay. Canadian looks great. Over the last couple of weeks, that was very bearish. And now, finally, after last week's twins and then the continuation this week, I'm looking at all this air up here on the 240 chart. Take a look. All right. You could see it even on the daily chart. We're into this big giant engulfing candle. We're into the candle, and therefore we should get at least to the top of this sucker. All right, so let's take a look here. That's telling us, again, long for Canadian. There's the bottom. And pinned. Here's our double bottom. We rally up. We've hit the supply. Really nice looking level, right? And then we just pushed out one time. Then we just chewed underneath it, and now we're able to, looks like we're ready to pop through it, and resistance at the 200 moving average, but that looks like it's going to work itself out. I would say the target is up here, 7,700 at least. Looking for Canadian dollar this week. Okay, so rally for Canadian. There's our 60 chart, and there's the supply that got hit on Friday and a little pullback. But we're making higher highs and higher lows over here. And oh yeah, there's the air. Okay. So we're looking at 7,700 easily. Then that's a pretty nice looking supply zone. So I'd be targeting this thing right here. So any pullback on a smaller time frame, there's a nice looking demand zone like sitting over here. I'll show it to you on the 15. That's where you want to try the long. And wow, this is your target right here. Wicked, wicked supply. Look at that tight little doji inside those monster candles. So that's going to cause trouble. You don't want to try to fight through that sucker. I would close it out over there, and if it makes another higher low after that, then we'll try the long again. But for now, that's your own target. There's the zone of the 15 that I'm talking about. Demand right there. Okay. Cool. Looking good. Okay, so everyone's got a question. And Malik. What's up, my man? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Joe. Can you go to the 60?
Canadian 60? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the last zone that you've drawn.
The demand zone?
I'm wondering at like the last demand zone, the highest one. Why do you leave the weak? Because I thought that whenever there was weak, you would actually try to incorporate them into a zone.
Yeah, no problem. Hold on, I'll tell you why I did that. Okay, so this is I was drawing this wick right against the wall over here. So I picked up the leg in of the wicks. Right. So that's the reason that I did that. The reason why, because there's a little level over here which I ignored. Right. There's the wick that I'm looking at. That's the one that started this rally that took out the highs. And then I go back in time and I find the leg in of that area. That's this. That's why my distal line is here. There is another zone. The zone that you're talking about is below that zone. Right? The one you're talking about is over here.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is the area that we broke out of the prior highs. We banged on top of this right here, see it? This was the high. We banged it here, 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 and then we went back and we made new highs. Okay, So the last time we were in the area was here. It's more like, I guess you want to call it a support area, right? Just because it's been hit so many times. But it is the area where we were unable to sell off attempt.
But this one is actually, this one's not fresh, whereas the one that you haven't drawn before is actually fresh.
It is correct. You're true, but this is the zone that broke all the highs.
Okay.
We were unable to take out this level. We made new highs. So because it was able to make new highs, I'm interested here. If it had not made new highs, I would be looking at your zone. You're right, over here. With me?
Got it.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Drew.
No problem. So this is like a flag, right? The week. If we look, no, I lost my pen. Hold on. Here.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. If you're looking at this on a smaller time frame, a larger time frame, this is a flag breakout. There's the staff, and we're starting to break out. See it?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So that's the reason. Only because we made the new highs over here. That's why I'm looking over here. Otherwise, I would definitely be looking at what you're seeing. Okay?
Got it.
Next. Okay, and we're looking at copper. What's on it? What's up for copper? Ooh, wicked, right? And look what the last 4 weeks of copper have done. Can you say rejection of the highs? Oh boy, doesn't get uglier than that. So, obviously we're way stretched. It's time for a little bounce. It looks like so far we've bounced up into this 240 zone, and it's actually just pausing. It's unable to really rally yet. So, is there a continuation here going on more? Very, very possible. We're in the air over here. You could see it. We're in the air over here on the weekly chart. Right? The demand is still lower down. We're in the air on the monthly chart. The demand is still lower down. So, can we continue this sell-off? Absolutely. Where's the demand on the daily chart? Well, we're in the air. Look, we're into this big green candle. The demand is still lower down. Right? Even if you want to be more gracious with the zone and draw it a little bigger, we still haven't touched even the top of the wicks. So there's just nothing to hold copper up over here at all. Okay, it's going to sell off more. Okay, until it gets down into that area. So still shorts for now. At some point this week, it's probably going to bottom out, but that'll take some time. It looks like over here on the 60 chart, we hit some kind of demand on, looks like Friday. Early Friday, but we still have not made a single higher low. Take a look over here, right? And all these highs are lower. So even though we're sort of bounced out of this little demand zone, that we still haven't made a higher low. No question about where the trend is. No question about who's in control of this chart. So, you want to be on the side of the shorts, that's for sure. So supply zones get sold. Right? As it rallies into a supply zone, expect to sell. Over here, we do have a little bit of a higher low. You could see a sort of the beginning of an inverted head and shoulders potentially over here. If this is the neckline, we're sort of at it, right? And there's still fresh supply here. Very good supply. I mean, you could see what happened here, right? Breaks down, couldn't get there, and then a massive sell-off. So fresh supply is sitting right here. I would be willing to short this level, no problem. The prior lows, some demand a little bit over here, and no problem taking a short in this area. So that pretty good trade. So it's staying short copper down into like 2.7 and change, right? Where the new demand is still way under us. Okay, so shorts for this week in copper. This is all related to the China nonsense. What's going on with the trade tariffs? So it isn't going to get any better anytime soon yet. So Chinese economy. Very, very volatile when it comes to copper. So copper is volatile relative to Chinese news, and we know that they're in the news full time right now. So with all the tariffs kicking in and stuff like that, soy was a disaster over the last few weeks, and it finally hit the monthly demand zone. Right, it hit the weekly demand zone, and it just gave a little pause right after like 30 candles of red. I don't know. We got one little bounce on Friday, and how far to go, got into some supply, and back testing to the 9 number. It looks like we were at 850 and change, back test to 9. It's likely to roll over here and collapse again. So this is also related to China. The soybeans is on the list of Chinese no-nos now, or tariffs or whatever. The bounce came because from other countries said they're going to buy it and sell it instead. They'll sell theirs to China and buy ours or some nonsense. But right now, the supply is sitting here. We do have a little bit of a demand zone underneath us. So on the 60, we saw one move up. It's a rally-based rally. So, we have room to clean this out. Expect a lower high out of that. And the lower high will give you a fantastic short over here. Okay, we're going to retrace this. We still need a higher low before we can expect this thing to start rallying. And there isn't any good news coming out anytime soon, I think. So this is just a stop run for the weak shorts that we're out there, and we should look for a chance to short soy. Okay. On the 15, when we get a couple of zones up there that were created on Friday with this this sell-off, rally. And that's all garbage now. It's just let this demand zone get hit and short the lower high. Okay, which looks like this, right? We're going to wait for this little thing to back test into the demand zone. It's going to rally. It's going to make a lower high, and then we're going to get short and just ride it out. It's probably going to get below this level. Okay, slight shorts. Okay, and then we'll do the bonds and go to the beach. So, what do we got? U.S. bonds rallying again. So I thought interest rates are going up. Looks like, doesn't look like that way for the bonds. Right? Bonds are rallying. Interest rates are going down. Okay? So, 30-year rate is under pressure, and it looks like it's going to actually continue that way. If you look here on the 240, you'll see we actually broke out of the level. We back tested the breakout, and we rallied further, and then we tried to sell off, and we couldn't, and we continued to rally. So the bonds are actually going to make new highs this week. We're going to be rallying out of this monthly demand zone. We're going to get back to this level. Look at the weekly chart. That's where the supply is, 148 and change. Still far from where we are. Okay? So this little level over here on the daily is going to get taken out, and we're going up. Okay, we're looking at 148 and change, where the 200 moving average is actually sitting at on the daily chart. That's where the supply is. So here's the high low. There's the pivot. We're on the way back. We're going to take it out, and we're going up here. That's the target for the bonds. There's some demand under here. I drew it out in the smaller time frames. I'll show it to you. And the chance to join the longs up there. There it is. There's our 60. There's a supply getting taken out. There's the back test. There's some demand sitting over here. We can look at it. This is the low that I was talking about that got broken through. This was a supply zone on prior. We're here, and we break it, and then we back test it right here, and then we make new highs. So that's it. We're in an uptrend. We buy pullbacks. Target 148 and change. Okay. Cool. Anybody have a question? Okay, hold on. That is from the week. What's up, man?
Hey, Joe, can you go to the daily?
Yep.
I'm trying to understand the rationale behind the first supply zone that you've drawn. We're at 147.22. I'm trying to understand
Yep. Okay.
what you did.
Rip the wicks against the wall over here. Yep. Wick here.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Wall. That's it. Okay, so that's the level there. 147 something or other, whatever that is. It was. I think I adjusted it at one point. It was, it was drawn over here as this wick, and I picked up this, and then we came into it. And I kept pulling it up, and I said, I'm just going to put it right at the top of the wick here, and that's where it is. Well, again, that level, based on what we're saying, is probably going to get taken out, right? So it should maybe small pushback, and then we are going to end up over here someplace, right here where the 200 averages. That's going to get touched probably this week. So I think we're going to see a pretty good move for the bonds coming. And that's where we are. That makes sense as well also because the market's in trouble, at least what I think is going to happen. So that's what we're looking at. Okay, so overall, we're looking for the equities to have weakness, crude to have weakness, gold strength, euro strength, nat gas shorts, yen long, Aussie dollar long, pounds long, Canadian long, copper short, soy short, bonds long. Okay, so trading live this week, Wednesday and Thursday. So the next time we get together will be an 8:30 webinar for Wednesday, and then trading live 10 to 12 Wednesday and Thursday. Cool. If anyone has any questions along the way, please feel free to reach out. Otherwise, thank you, by the way, for the people wishing me happy birthday. I appreciate it. What's today? Today's the 8th, so my birthday is Tuesday. So thank you very much. And everyone enjoy the weather. It is fantastic. Okay? See you later, guys. Bye. 35s? No, I'm actually 40, what's 2018? 47. 47. Okay? See you later, guys. Ciao.